Welcome everyone, my name is Kay Kultoff and you are watching a Stamp and Chat with Kay. Today we're going to make some really pretty cards with the Lovely You bundle. I've got some tips to share. I'm going to be using some new adhesive. And I have cards. I got cards in the mail or left in my box outside my house and I can't wait to share them with you. So let me do that first. This card is from a fairly new downline member of mine. Her name is Kathy DeBell and she is from way out on the East Coast. She made this really pretty Label Me Pretty card. She has the prettiest handwriting, so she wrote all about it on the back of the card. She used the Flowering Foils Designer Series paper. That was one of the specials during Celebration. She also used the Thoughtful Blooms stamp set, which was also a celebration item. But it's just really pretty and I have to share it with you. So let me show you this beautiful card. So thank you so much, Kathy. I love it. I love those foils. I kind of wish we'd get a foil pack like that. That was just part of our regular line. Maybe I'll have to put a little note in to Stampin' Up. I really like the design of this card. She said she was inspired by the creative Chelsea. So that's pretty nice. She wrote all of that information down for me. So nice of her, because half the time I have no idea, you know, the name of a stamp set. She must realize that, you know, I've got early Alzheimer's or something. She decided to put all that information on for me. So nice of her. So thank you, Kathy. And then my next card was a drop-off for me last week on Thursday. Get ready to have your socks knocked right off. So this uses the Peony Garden product suite and it's from my downline member Mary Alice Bellis. So pretty. And then it just has this fabulous fluffy ribbon. And the ribbon is the organdy striped ribbon in petal pink. Really pretty. So I haven't gotten this product suite yet. Well, I've gotten little pieces of it, but not the whole thing. And I don't have the bundle. But boy, a card like this sure makes me want to get it. Of course, I love that vellum doily in the background. It's really pretty. So anyway, thank you so much, Mary Alice. You are a treasure. A true treasure. She shares so much in our downline group. We are so lucky and blessed to have her in our group. In fact, all the cards today that I'm sharing with you are from downline members. They completely spoil me. So this one is from one of our newer downline members as well, and she is from the Hayward, Wisconsin area. So this is Michelle Baranik's card, and she uses the Celebrating Sunflowers. And look at that, just exquisite coloring. And then she also used Wink Estella on the sunflowers, so it kind of even sparkles when you hold it. But I can't get over the coloring on this card. It's just, maybe you have to hold it back a little bit. The coloring is just fantastic. Such a wow card. So thank you so much, Michelle. What a treasure card. I love it. Then I got a beautiful card from my downline member Laura Erickson, and she is also just such a talented stamper, and she did a die cutting card, so kind of where you use all different die cuts and then put them together, except this die cutting set is all from the Blossoms in Bloom bundle, so the coordinating dies that go with the Blossoms in Bloom. And then she used new in colors. So she used the Bumblebee with the Cinnamon Cider and then just against a basic black background. I think you're going to be pretty impressed. So let me show this off. It's really pretty. So thank you so much, Laura. I love that it's a landscape style card. I've seen a lot of these cards created in the portrait style, and so this in a landscape. I also really like the way she slanted the hello. Has the little butterfly on there. It looks really pretty. And just a simple kind of a simple idea where you just layer up the die cuts. So Stampin' Up! Makes it so easy for us. Just cut those die cuts out, layer them up, and your card is done. Of course, I need ideas for, you know, my color combinations, and I think this is a really great one. So pretty and so much fun. We have 4 beautiful cards. We're only going to make 2, but they all are the same. They just have different designer series paper, so I want to show you how beautiful this paper is. So here's the first one that uses the Forever Greenery designer series paper, and the way it opens up is like this. So it's really, really a neat fold, kind of a fun fold. It doesn't look like it would open up like that when you first get it, but it's really cool. Here's another one with another one of those pattern papers. And then we have one of my favorites, the ferns. Oh, look at that. And then one more. And I have to share, I made these cards special for my downline who were in my top 10 last month. So that's the people who got these cards were my top 10 in sales last month, got these beautiful cards. All right, so I'm gonna flip the camera down because I want to show you this beautiful designer series paper pack. So give me a second to move some things out of the way, and then we'll get going here on making this card. So the Forever Greenery 12 by 12 designer series paper pack has lots of gorgeous greens, as you would expect in a paper pack that features a lot of foliage. Absolutely stunning. So let me show you in a bigger way how I came up with the colors that I used. So these are all the colors in the designer series paper pack that I punched out with the 2-inch circle punch. And when I was designing my card, I knew I wanted to go with a darker, deeper contrasting color. So I picked Pretty Peacock to work with. And then, actually, let me put it on the white here. I needed kind of a neutral color to work with so that I could have something for stamping on. I could have gone with a real light color like soft seafoam, but I wanted to give this a real earthy feel, and I also wanted it to coordinate with the Pretty Peacock ribbon. So I chose to use Crumb Cake with the Pretty Peacock, which I think is really a very pretty combination together. It's very soothing, very earthy, and I really like that. In fact, I love this whole paper pack because of the soothing colors. And so that kind of was my process as I was getting ready to create this card. Then, as you'll notice, we use the Pretty Peacock scalloped edge ribbon, and I always put my ribbon on, well, I've always put it on in the past with snail, and then we got these new adhesives from Stampin' Up, and we don't even sell snail anymore, so I was a little concerned, well, how is that going to work with the ribbon? So for the cards I made for my downline, because I was making them in advance before the catalog even actually launched with the pre-order items, I was actually using snail on those cards, and I had a little bit of humidity, and I noticed the ribbon was coming up, and I thought, well, probably is a good time to get a new adhesive from Stampin' Up, because with the humidity, the ribbon was loosening. So what I did is I took some ribbon, very similar, except this is the Purple Posy scalloped ribbon. And what I did is I put some down with snail, and then I burnished it. So I rubbed it in real tight. Then I put some in with our regular new Stampin' Seal, and again, burnished it down. And then I used the Stampin' Seal Plus, and also, again, burnished it down. And now, on camera, for the first time, we're going to see which of these will give us the best results as far as holding ribbon down. So with the snail, I can pull away that ribbon fairly easily. I mean, as long as you don't pick it up and pull it off. Whoa, that did pull off really easily. So yeah, you have to use a lot of it and really burnish it down to get your ribbon to work. Here is the new seal. So that's the middle one. And I'm doing about the same amount of pressure, and as you can see, oh my gosh. Oh, I have to really really pull to bring it up. And it's actually bringing up the paper a little bit. That's how tightly the new seal is working for adhering ribbon. Then we have the Seal Plus, and that one seems to be coming up pretty easily. Not super easily. I'm still pulling on it pretty hard. But I think for adhering ribbon, so like this is probably meant to do paper to paper because of the fact that it's for boxes and for things that need to have a really tight seal. It seems to me that as far as doing ribbon, your best bet is going to be just the regular new adhesive from Stampin' Up! Called Seal. So that is the one I'm going to use. That is the one I'll be recommending from now on when you're using ribbon as a layer. Because a lot of times what I do is I do a wrap around with my ribbon or whatever, but because this card, I didn't want it to be real bulky up here because this is pretty bulky ribbon, so I didn't want to do a wrap around. I wanted to actually put it down and trim it even with the edge, so I do need an adhesive to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and get started making this card. And I'm going to mention also, we're using the Lovely You stamp set with the coordinating punch. And this is sold as a bundle called the Lovely You Bundle. And this punch is remarkable because, as you can see, there are two different styles of punch ends. So you're actually getting two different punch end styles in one punch. And then Stampin' Up! Has layered it. So you can do a 1-inch punch, a 3/4 inch punch, or a 1/2 inch punch, which I have here to show you the difference in how that looks. And so you can get different looks based on the size of paper and then based on which end of the or which of the styles that you're using. So it's pretty good. You get 6 different looks with one punch, which is fabulous, a fabulous, fabulous thing. So I've had several customers already order this because they've seen me exclaiming over it in other videos that I've done, and they're very excited about it, and I was very excited about it, so it's fantastic. And then this is the Lovely You stamp set, which has got so many good sentiments in it. I really love it for the sentiments. So that's what we'll be using today is 2 sentiments. This card, if you open it up, it also has, so the outside says miles apart, but still in my heart. And on the inside, it has a little heart because you want to coordinate, if you can, with something on the outside. So the heart is with the same designer series paper, and it says always, which I just love. So let's get started making this card. We're going to start with our Pretty Peacock card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. Not too hard of a fold, so I'm going to grab my bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, this really should probably go on your next order. You've probably not watched too many videos of mine without seeing me use one because I think it's just really nice to have your cardstock lie flat for you while you're working with it. Otherwise, it's kind of popping up. It gets into your ink pads, or like you're coming down with your stamp to stamp something and then you make a mess with the ink on it. Oh, trust me, I've done it wrong every way possible. So once I fold it in half, then I'm going to fold this front flap over one more time. And we'll just go ahead and also take the bone folder. So now we have something that looks like this. So we're going to do the same thing over here. And one more time. And we're ready to roll. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our inside panel and complete that first. And just to let you know, you will need, well, because I'm making 2 cards, I need 4 panels. But if you were only making 1 card, you would need 2 panels of crumb cake that's cut at 4 by 5 1/4. So that's what I did. And I'm making 2 cards as giveaway cards. So what's the giveaway? We're going to do some of these really, boy, you know what? I think I'm out. Am I out? Give me a second. Oh, nope, I am not out. Oh, for a second, I just about had a heart attack thinking I was out. But I do have a pack I can split. So there are some gilded gems on here, and that is what will be in the giveaway. When you share, let me know that you've shared, or comment on this video. I really appreciate all the comments. I do go back and read every single one of them. So that will be the giveaway in a couple of days when I do the drawing to see who wins the 2 cards that I'm making today. All right, so let's go ahead then and do that inside panel, because I also use these heart dies. So this particular set of dies, it's a big set, so I have it on both sides of my magnet. For those of you that are wondering, it's not magnets on both sides on one piece. It's actually 2 magnet cards that I get from Stampin' Storage, and I just clip them together. And I'm taking the straight edged heart here, the littlest one, and that is what I made my little heart shapes out of. So I kind of need to know where these are going to go on my inside panel in order for me to know where I want to stamp my always. Now, one little tip I have for you is if you're gonna leave a piece of paper on your card and then stamp, how many of you have accidentally stamped on the piece of paper that you wanted to not stamp on? Me. So what you want to do is just flip it over to the other side that you're not using. Then, if you accidentally stamp on your heart, it's not a big deal because you're using the other side. So what I did is I just inked up my always with Pretty Peacock. And I'm going to put this heart where I want it. I'm going to stamp my always next to it. And there it is. And we're going to do the exact same thing over here. And hopefully these aren't too crooked. I guess this one just goes down a little bit. The thing is, I can't put my head directly over things as I am doing these lives, or all you would see would be the back of my head. It's nice though if you are not doing a live and you're just stamping, get your head right over the top and then you can see exactly how things are going down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, hold on, I've got to grab one more thing here. Boy, you know, I tell you, since I've started using Stampin' Seal, it's such a strong adhesive. I want to make sure that I have got my silicone mat handy. Whoops, and then this is the other thing with Stampin' Seal that I do all the time. I put these little caps on and then I forget I have them on. I got to take them off all the time. But with your Stampin' Seal, it's a really good idea to use your craft sheet because, like I said, this is really sticky stuff. And then what happens is if it gets on another piece of cardstock that you wanted to use on your card, then you got to figure out how to get that adhesive off if you get it on there accidentally. All right, so there we go. We've got our little insides done. So let's just go ahead and put the insides into our card. So again, we're going to use some Stampin' Seal on the back here. And these I know, you're looking at it like, hey, you never put adhesive towards the bottom. Well, I kind of am on this card just because it helps with the whole design. Being that being that it's one of those kind of fun fold cards, it just seems more finished if I do it that way. So I am going for it with adhesive on the top and the bottom. So this is my inside panel. So now that is complete. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work on that outside panel. So we're going to bring back the crumb cake that we had. And remember, that is 4 by 5 1/4 for those of you just jumping in and wondering, what are these sizes? What are these sizes? So it's 4 by 5 1/4. Then what we're going to do is we need to do some layering up. So I've got a Pretty Peacock panel here. This is 3 1/8 by 5 inches. And what we're going to do is we're actually just going to go ahead and put this down. So again, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. You guys, it holds so good. I swear you don't need near as much adhesive as what you're probably used to using. Really, just a little at the top and a little at the bottom is going to work great for you. All right, so now we're going to do this one. So not only do you get more adhesive in the Stampin' Seal, I think not only do you get more, because you get more than what you got in the other one, the snail that we used to have, but it's literally a lot stronger. So there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the designer series paper, and again, got some weird measurements here, but you know, that's how it is with Kay. So we've got 2 7/8 by 4 3/4. And again, we're just going to go ahead and put this directly down. And just center that in on that panel. So it looks all beautiful. And then do it however you feel looks right to you. Because like to me, this looks right, but then I've seen a lot of other people think that this looks right. So it's whatever looks right to you. I mean, I don't know. To me, the little sprigs go up, but then other people like to look at them as kind of like hanging down. So it's kind of up to you. However you like to look at things is how you should put it on your paper. All right, now we're going to put our ribbon on. So I've got the pretty peacock here. This is the pretty peacock in color that's only around for another year. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to make it a little longer than what we need, so you have kind of handles to hang on to it when you're putting it onto your card. There we go. So let me get this out of the way here. Okay, so again, I highly recommend having your craft mat handy. And then take your stamp and seal this. Remember, we just proved which one works the best, and the stamp and seal, in my opinion, did a little bit better job. Sometimes you'll find that you have to just pull up on it to get it kind of started. There we go. But it's really not a problem. And I think the only reason that happened is because when I did my last adhering, I probably pulled it away. So here we go. We've got it. We've got the stamp and seal on. Now just hoover it over so that everything is even. Put it down, press it in. Perfect. Flip it over and trim it even. Works slick as can be. And it makes such a beautiful layer on your card. Now we're going to do this one. So again, I left a little room for handles so that, because this, like I said, this adhesive is so sticky, you want to be sure that you have a place to hold it. And again, we have the adhesive on there. Use your little handles to hoover it over and get it exactly where you want it. Press it in, flip it over, and trim it even. So easy. And like I said, this new adhesive is going to work great for keeping that ribbon in place. All right, now we can just go ahead and put this onto our card. So what I'm going to use now is I could use the adhesive, but you know, I want to wiggle it into place. And this adhesive will not allow wiggle room at all. And I don't think I'd be able to pull it up very easily. So I'm going to use my old favorite here, multi-purpose liquid glue from Stampin' Up. We're just going to put a layer down. Then you're going to take your cardstock, hoover it over the top here a little bit, press it in, and then you want to just line it up so it's the exact same, it's in the exact same spot as the crumb cake is on the inside of the card. So that when it's all closed up, it looks completely finished. And then here you have your inside. So we'll do the same thing over here. And remember, it's when you have a fancy fold, don't put the glue over here because you don't exactly know where the edge is. And then if you do have the glue over here, I've had so many customers do this when I was doing live events. And then they'd get it on there and they'd press, and then they couldn't open up their card. So that doesn't work so well. So if you're doing a fancy fold, put your glue actually on the fold so you don't glue your card shut. All right, Goes right here. Set that in, line it up. Glue is so lovely. Our multi-purpose liquid glue holds like iron. It's fantastic. All right, so there we go. Fabulous. Now, the only thing we have to do yet is a little bit of stamping and punching with that fabulous punch. Now oh yeah, and you know what else? I need some gilded gems. I'm going to run over to my area here and grab those. Oh dear. So, my gilded gems are still packed up from the weekend. I had taken some stamping stuff with me, and I don't have them here. So just know that when you get your cards in the mail, when you win the drawing, you'll actually have these on your cards, but I won't put them on today because they're still all packed up and they're in the other room, and I'd have to dig through probably 3 bags to find them. So we are not going to put those on today. But let me grab the punch, which should be here somewhere. It's right here. Let me give you the measurements. So I've got a couple here in case I stamp wrong. You don't need this. You don't need this many. If you're just making 1 card, you just need 1. If you're making 2 cards, you need 2. But I got backups. So these crumb cake panels are 3/4 by 3 1/4. Then what you do is you take your Pretty Peacock ink that we've got here. Well, actually, you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either stamp first, punch later, or you can punch first, stamp later. So I think we're going to punch first, stamp later. So then you pick whichever pretty end that you want, and I actually really love this squared up end. So just put your paper straight in. If you're tempted, flip it over, make sure it's all fully lined up. Do the same thing to the other side, put it in. If you're worried about it and you're not really sure if it's going to punch in the right spot, just flip it over and double check. And there it is. Now I'm going to only do 1 because I did do 1 in advance just to make sure I had the right paper size. So you would do the same thing if you were making multiple cards. You'd just keep punching them out. Then you're going to go ahead and take your sentiment. And, okay, now I'm going to have to kind of get over this because I need to see what I'm doing. Remember, when you're stamping, don't be so quick to lift it up. Just let the ink sit in there a minute so that it has a chance to soak into the paper and give you a really nice impression. Look at how pretty that is. So gorgeous. All right, so then to put this on, all we need are dimensionals. This is a super easy card. You'll have no trouble recreating this. So let's flip it over. And then we'll do the same thing over with this one. 3 dimensionals will work great. Take off those peelies, and then you're going to put them on your card. And don't worry, these cards will get the added gems. I'm just not going to do it on camera. All right, so here we go. We take this, we put it here. It's even pretty without the gems because there's just so much going on with this beautiful designer series paper. So just set it on here because you really want the designer series paper to be the focus. So just set it on here towards the bottom. So gorgeous. Do the same thing over here. And then you can add your gems afterwards. And I'll show you a close-up of the original card so you can see where I put the gems exactly. So let me just show you exactly where they go. And I don't know, this looks like they're all the same size. Did I do them all the same size? Wow, I think I did. Or what? What the heck? Yeah, they all look like the medium-sized gilded gems. So I put 1 here, kind of right where the bottom of the label is here. I put another one up here. And then the 3rd one just right up here. So just kind of keep them sort of around the label. And I mean, they're not super noticeable, but when you're holding the card, it sort of catches the light and it just looks really pretty. All right, so you know what? Instead of showing these two that don't have the gems, let me show you all 4 of the other ones so you can see the different styles of designer series paper that I use. Kept one of each, and how pretty they look. And like I mentioned, this was the top 10 cards to my demonstrator base for top 10 in sales last month, and I'm sure they really enjoyed these cards. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. It was just a pleasure. And I will be back on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Central with another Facebook Live as a Stamp and Chat with Kay. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.